Hello everyone, this is IdrA Kephalos, and I am here alongside with 13. We are going to be casting a somewhat exciting 2v2 that somebody sent to me. I'm not sure if this game is any good or not, but he claims that he is playing with IdrA right now. Anyways, what's going on, 13?
Kai, how you doing, man? Glad to be back. I don't know if this is IdrA, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll take a look here. The game is just starting out, but of course IdrA does have insane APM because he is a macro bot. But looking at the APM, I don't believe this is the real IdrA. SpeedyS is indeed asking. He says, yeah, this is the real IdrA, but I don't for a second believe that looking at the average APM here. We'll get this underway. Plus, to be honest, I believe that IdrA only plays on the Asian servers, and he does play as Zerg in the 1v1, so I would be surprised to see him playing as Protoss. Plus, I don't think he likes playing team games, to be honest. I mean, I don't know about you, 13. Have you ever heard of him playing a team game ever?
Maybe it's like IdrA's little brother got onto his computer while he was logged on or something. I don't know.
Possibly. But anyways, this game is supposedly good regardless of whether or not this is indeed the real IdrA in the game. But looking at the players on the map right now, we've got SpeedyS playing as the red Protoss in the upper left here. And on the right-hand side, his ally is going to be the blue Terran, which is Proxemo. And at the bottom of the map here, we have the fake purple IdrA, and then his ally is the light blue Zerg Kephalos, which this is actually the guy that sent me this replay. So definitely props to him for sending me this replay. Hopefully the game is as good as he claims it is, and it will make it onto my YouTube channel.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of my favorite maps, Kai. I know that you and I play this quite often with our Zerg Protoss combination. What do you think the Zerg Protoss in the bottom combination should be doing right here?
To be honest, as a Zerg player on this map, I really like to go for some early speedling pressure. If you can get somewhere between 20 and 30 lings usually with the speed upgrade, despite whether or not they have some zealots up at the front here, you can usually get back in their mineral line and do a decent amount of damage. Of course, the Terran player, as you can see here, is going to wall off, but the Protoss player almost never completely walls off. As you know, 13, being a Protoss player yourself, they just create a small choke where they can easily defend with just 1 or 2 zealots, which it looks like that is actually what SpeedyS is working up to right now as he tries to chase this drone out of his base, which it doesn't look like it's going to be leaving anytime soon.
Yeah, there's one thing that I've been seeing a lot of Protoss players do lately that I think I'm going to start trying myself, but they've actually been blocking off the bottom of their ramp, which I think is kind of interesting. You know, with the high ground advantage that StarCraft 2 has, it just allows you to keep that high ground advantage a little bit longer, you know, by not allowing units up onto your ramp.
Absolutely. Of course, the big disadvantage to that is if you do block off at the bottom, your buildings are more exposed. So you do run the risk of losing your tech buildings a little bit earlier in the game if they are indeed able to put enough pressure on to take those out.
Just something to try. I saw a pro do it, so it's gotta have some use to it.
Absolutely. I'm not saying there's no merit at all, but anyways, looking at the Protoss player, the fake IdrA here, he has gone 1 gateway into a Cyber Core and is now getting a Twilight Council, so teching very quickly here. And his Zerg ally, it looks like, is gone for a fast hatchery. He only has 1 spawning pool up, which actually you usually only get 1 spawning pool, but he has a spawning pool up and is getting another hatchery out at his natural expo here in the middle, the first player to expand on this map. But it looks like the opponents they are facing up against right now, SpeedyS does have 1 gateway and 1 cyber core, and he is going into a robotics facility instead of Twilight Council, which we saw the fake IdrA doing. But back at the Terran place for Proxemo, he has decided to do a little bit of an add-on switch. As you notice there, he had that tech lab built on his barracks, and then once the factory was finished, he moved his factory onto that tech lab add-on. It looks like he is going to be going for siege tanks. So, and actually, wow, I did not notice that, but apparently there's a small gap here between the supply depot and the factory, so it looks like smaller units, I'm guessing a Zealot might barely be able to squeeze through there, and of course Zerglings would as well. So Proxemo is going to have to be pretty careful here not to take some serious damage from an early Zergling attack, although it doesn't look like there are a huge amount of Zerglings, so he may not have to be worried about that.
Well, Kephalos does have those Zerglings here. Will he try to sneak him through that little crack in the Terran's base?
It does not look like it. He is actually focusing on helping his ally, the fake IdrA here, take on SpeedyS, but SpeedyS manages to run both of his zealots back into his base, and it looks like there is a phase prism coming out right now. And if we take a look at the production overlay, we can see here that he does indeed have the warp gate technology researching. It's about 70% done right now, so it won't be too much longer before that is actually finished researching and he's able to warp units in. My assumption would be that he is going to basically try to get that warp prism over in the back of his enemy's base and set it up in pylon mode and just try to warp some units in there covertly.
Yeah, but at the moment, I think he only has one gateway. He might have two at this point, and he's not going to be able to warp too many units in with only one warp gate.
This is indeed true, but he does have an additional gateway coming in right now, so we will most likely see that go up. And actually, looking at the resources up in the top right here, he has a lot of excess minerals. I'm not sure why he's got so many minerals that are being unused right now, but apparently he could have a couple more gateways.
I think we're probably going to see an immortal drop from him. He's got a quick immortal coming out of there. He's going to use that warp prism just to get it around the map really quickly and maybe pick off some probes or some drones.
I have indeed seen a lot of people using the drop with the immortals and a phase prism. Now, one thing I'm surprised I don't see more of, which maybe you can enlighten me since you are a Protoss player, 13, but I'm not sure why people don't drop those immortals off to do the initial harassment and then immediately convert to pylon mode and just start warping in units to support those immortals.
Yeah, I've actually seen a few players do that. I think you can load up 2 immortals per phase prism. So I've seen people, bring in 2 initial immortals and then, maybe bring some sentries in and use that wall off a little bit. Use the force field, pretty effectively to pick some units off with those immortals.
Yeah, I've actually apparently just never seen anybody do that. But anyways, it looks like the fake IdrA is putting some pressure on the front base of SpeedyS. It looks like he is going to be able to snipe one pylon. And if he can get this second pylon, he's actually going to take down a large amount of the tech for SpeedyS. And as you can see, SpeedyS is now supply blocked. He is at 35 of 34. But the Terran player Proximo moving out to help his ally. He does have siege tanks in play along with his Marines, and that is going to clean up these Zerglings without any issue. And the remaining stalkers from the fake IdrA here are forced to back up across the map and go back to his base.
Maybe we should pronounce IdrA differently, like IdrA or something, so you don't have to keep saying fake IdrA.
IdrA?
There we go.
No, I don't know. Anyways, I prefer saying fake IdrA because this guy is a noob for using a pro gamer's tag and claiming that he is indeed that pro gamer when in fact he is not. Once again, yeah, APM tab, I doubt IdrA plays at an average of 88 APMs. He is a macro bot, which means he's got between 300 and 500 APMs most of the time. At least that's what it was in Brood War. I gotta imagine that it's similar in StarCraft 2. But anyways, he does have pretty good mineral saturation at his main base. He's getting an expansion up and running right now.
And he does have a few DTs moving out into the center of the map. We'll see what kind of harassment he can get off with those guys.
Indeed he does. As far as detection goes, let's take a look around the map here. On the units overlay, I do not see any observers from SpeedyS right now. So, and it doesn't look like there are any Ravens either. So they are going to be completely reliant on stationary detection with the exception of scan sweeps. And it looks like these DTs are going to go right by this main army out in the front and just go straight for the probe line in SpeedyS's base. And he immediately moves his probes offline. There is a scan going down right now, and both of these DTs go down very quickly. So good reaction from SpeedyS and his ally Proximo to take those DTs down.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen the fake IdrA maybe put one DT in each base just so that Proximo wouldn't be able to scan both of them at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. Having the ability to split those DTs up so that you can actually force them to use more scans to defend against it is a very good idea, and I've seen a lot of pros do a lot of damage with DTs both in StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2 simply just by splitting